Alright, howdy everybody. So, no day 4 video because we started at 6 a.m. and went until like almost 9. So it was a butt whip. So I'm done in the mountains, heading to the plains for my next thing. To my right is a huge thunderstorm and tornado. So it's kind of wild. I'm kind of paralleling it. But, so this is kind of a sticky subject. This is going to start getting into that, those hard topics. So, but why I will never take a job for a overtly religious company. So let that sink in for a minute. I kind of apply, that the adage of one time can be an anomaly, 2 times it starts being a pattern. So the reason why I say that I will never join a company that markets themselves as that is because now twice I've gone into 2 companies and the absolute opposite has been true. So the first one was that wood company, shelf, cabinets, whatever. And funny enough, like I knew a month into it, like, oh shit. But at the time I was desperate. We had lost our second kid. I was on the road every week. All I wanted to do was be home and be with my kids. Like, I was miserable. So, I took the opportunity with, both the owner and, the other guy, saying all these grandiose things and how amazing they were and how great, the future was, and they had all this stuff going on. Could kind of get in on the ground floor. So when I resigned at Deloitte, terrible decision. It was an emotional decision because if I would have stayed with Deloitte when Elijah was born, little tiniest squid, I would have gotten 6 months paid paternity leave. And so I even delayed resigning for a number of months. Because if you recall in someone else's videos, they had the shop had a fire because it should have been another indication. Some dumbass decided to weld in a place that has sawdust. And so I kind of delayed it because of that. And then, finally pulled that trigger and did it. And then a month in, like, there was no work. There was some bidding going on. I was also hired to be the chief operating officer, not the chief operations officer. I was supposed to be taking it from the owner because this is a whole nother conversation, but tradesmen are terrible owners. And they can never get past being a tradesman, and they can't run a business. They run a job, and that's what this was. And so my functions, my strengths, none of them got to play in there. But a month in, like, here comes prototypes, right? And a month in, looking at this, flat desk, 2-seat thing that they created. And, literally you're trying to solve the problem with where the wires and stuff go. And I'm the one who solved the problem, right? And I went home that night in my head going, dude, this is not good. Like, if I'm solving your tradesman problem, this is bad. Full disclosure, time goes on. I used my influence to help move first TJ's wife to Oklahoma to her grandmother's house and property, and then TJ dropped the bomb for him leaving, but that he would come back for his contractor rate of $120 an hour. So that should show you some motivation. And so I was kind of stuck there, and I wasn't getting paid the quarterly distributions I was supposed to be getting paid. In public, they talked about how, we're going to do beautiful things for you, the customer. In private, it was cha-ching with their arm, like there was lowballing labor, and then also like arguing with people's rates with what they wanted to charge for, say, finishing, staining, welding work, trying to dictate their even stuff with getting a truck fixed, to where I kind of was like, people's rates are people's rates. Like, it's inappropriate to tell them that you shouldn't be paying them that. Anyway, but the bottom line of the experience was, all the words were there and there's no follow through in the actions, right? It was talked about all the time. We're all for God. He's gonna bless us because we're doing it for His glory. And then on the flip side, like, none of the actions followed that, right? And eventually, there just was no future there, and a lot of other personal things were going on for when I left that. So fast forward now to second time is now a pattern. Same kind of, like, we're gonna do it right even if it hurts. We're gonna glorify God through our works. It's pressed every day. I have been completely scope creeped in my duties. From running production, being the production manager, to actually being the chief operating officer now. So I'm running financials, the HR office, cybersecurity, sales, operations. I'm doing all of it. And now I'm also in the middle of transitioning to a brand new CRM, all while barely getting any pay increases. It was expected that I should just do it for my love of the company, right? And that we're going to glorify God, and He's going to bring this stuff to us, and but we're going to grow, and then that's when then we'll take care of you. Then we'll then And I believe that rhetoric in the beginning, and I wanted to believe it because, you know what, I want to find a place where I enjoy the culture. It lines up with my values, and I can execute in that every day and be happy when I go home. It was about a year, and I started getting some indications or signs like, man, that doesn't look right, that doesn't sound right. Like, some of the unfair negotiation with labor that I was hearing. And so I started picking up on these things, and again, my scopes continued to increase, and I literally had to take over the sales organization directly, not taking an override, even though I'm allowed an override or I should be allowed an override on every job because I'm involved in every job in the contract. Did not get that, but was promised a relatively brand new pickup truck, because that was a need of mine by December. Well, of course, never happened, right? And it never happened because a month before the owners decided to split, right? And so the reason became, well, we're just not in a position, so I continue on, right? 6 months now, 8 months running this. Finally went in, had a conversation, and said, hey, listen, I know you're not in a position to increase my base, but I've been doing this for no override, and that's standard practice. Like, at least give me let's start the overrides on all the commercial and residential sales that I'm doing. So, the first thing back to me was, well, what do you need money for? Not, here's the level of responsibility and the equal representation that you should be paid, but what I needed money for. Keep in mind, I started with these guys because of that rhetoric, cheaper than I was as an E4 back in 93. So, and it was based on all that rhetoric, their direction, their faith, their overtness to it, and then at that moment it became very apparent to me that, and then a couple other things about, you love this company so much, and it's like, no, I don't love the company. I want to take care of my family. Like, I do my job and I do it well because that's how I can take care of my kids. So same kind of instances happened again. I think most of the companies out there who will say that, they're a Christian-based, faith-based, grounded in whatever, are full of shit. I think most of them are hypocrites. I think most of them, it's a marketing scheme. They're playing on people's vulnerability in religion. And yes, it is a vulnerability in a religion because I watch it used on YouTube, on people's channels, and that's what attracts them to it. I guess enough said about that, but Yeah, I mean, I'm just done. I mean, I'd rather go back to the corporate structure in Apple or Deloitte that I was working in before. And, at least there, you're getting your throat cut when you expected it. So, anyway, have a great day, and I'm on my way to the plains.